Hands where I can see them. The cop shouted, gun drawn, lights flashing red and blue against the rain-soaked street. The man froze, his palms raised high. Sir, I didn't do anything, he began, but the second officer rushed in, slamming him against the hood of his car. You match the description, the cop barked. Black male, dark SUV, suspicious behavior. The man gritted his teeth. I was taking my son home from practice. His voice stayed calm, steady, too steady. The officers didn't care. They yanked his wallet out, tossed it on the wet ground, and cuffed him anyway. His son, barely 12, sat in the passenger seat crying. Dad, please, he didn't do anything. One officer snapped, stay in the car, kid, or you'll join him. The boy flinched back, trembling. A few neighbors had started recording from their porches, whispering under their breath. The first officer smirked, bet you thought you could talk your way out of this, huh? The man slowly lifted his head, his voice quiet but sharp. You sure you want to finish that sentence, officer? The cop frowned, oh, I'm sure. The man sighed. Then you'd better look in that wallet you just threw on the ground. The officer rolled his eyes but bent down anyway, flipping it open under the streetlight. A second later, his face drained of color. Inside, gleaming behind the plastic cover, was a Homeland Security badge, real, official, and with a name that matched the man standing right in front of him. The man turned his head slightly, his calm now terrifying. Now, he said softly, you want to tell my son why his father's being arrested, by people who just detained their own federal agent. The officer's hand froze midair. The other one looked over, confused. What's wrong, man? He asked. The first cop didn't answer. His eyes were locked on the badge, the holographic seal glinting under the rain. Slowly, he muttered, oh, hell. The man turned around, his voice still calm but carrying an edge that sliced through the tension. Uncuff me. The second officer frowned. Hold on, we still need to verify. Verify what? The man interrupted, eyes cold. You already assaulted a federal agent in front of witnesses. He nodded toward the neighbors recording from their porches. And my son's got the whole thing on his phone. The second cop's face fell as the kid held up his phone, camera still rolling. I told you, the boy said quietly, my dad didn't do anything. The man stepped forward slightly, the cuffs biting into his wrists. You stopped me because of my skin color, he said. Now you're realizing the mistake's going to cost you your badges. The first officer scrambled, fumbling with the keys. Sir, Agent Carter, look, we didn't know. You didn't identify yourself. I didn't have to, Carter replied, his tone low but fierce. You didn't even give me a chance. The metal cuffs clinked open. Carter rubbed his wrist slowly, his eyes never leaving theirs. You want to run my ID? Go ahead. But after that, you're calling your chief. And I'll be calling my director. The two officers exchanged panicked looks. One of them stammered, Sir, please, we. Carter cut him off again, this time stepping closer until their faces were inches apart. Do I look like a man you can intimidate? He asked quietly. I train the people who train you. The cops stepped back, speechless. Rain kept falling, the sirens still flashing, but now the whole street was watching as the balance of power flipped completely. The second cop swallowed hard, the sound almost louder than the rain. Agent Carter, sir, we just got a call about a stolen black SUV. Carter's jaw tightened. And you thought that meant me, he said, voice calm but razor sharp. No license plate check, no verification, just handcuffs and guns. The younger cop shifted nervously, eyes flicking to the kid still filming. Sir, if you'd just let us. Carter stepped forward, cutting him off. You pointed a weapon at my son. You yelled at him to stay in the car like he was a criminal. His tone deepened, steady and controlled, but filled with quiet fury. He's 12. You traumatized a child because you saw his skin before you saw his humanity. The older cop tried to speak, but Carter raised a hand. Don't. Just, don't. He reached down, picked up his soaked badge, and wiped it clean with his thumb. The silver glint caught both officers' eyes. You know what this badge means? He asked. It means I've spent 15 years keeping this country safe. But tonight, my own country treated me like a suspect in front of my son. The silence was crushing. The boy finally stepped out of the car, his small voice trembling. Dad, can we go home now? Carter nodded gently, resting a hand on his son's shoulder. "Yeah, buddy. We're going." As they turned to leave, the police radio crackled. "Attention units, the stolen vehicle has been recovered across town. Suspect in custody." The two officers froze. Carter didn't even look back. "Guess you found the real guy," he said quietly. The older cop started, "Agent Carter, please, we'll file a report, we can." Carter stopped, turned his head just enough for them to hear him say the line that would echo online for weeks. "Don't file a report. File for new jobs." He opened his car door, let his son in, and as they pulled away, the flashing lights dimmed behind them, two cops standing in the rain, realizing they hadn't just made a mistake. They'd just humiliated themselves in front of a Homeland Security agent, and the entire neighborhood. The next morning, the video was everywhere. Someone from across the street had caught the whole thing. Carter's calm voice, the cops, shouting, and that final line that went viral overnight. "Don't file a report. File for new jobs." It had over 3 million views by sunrise. The clip had the nation arguing, some defending the cops, others furious. But what no one expected was what came next. Homeland Security headquarters called Carter in early that morning. He walked into the building, everyone's eyes following him. Some nodded in quiet respect, others whispered. In the director's office, a tall woman in a navy suit stood waiting. "Agent Carter," she said, her tone serious. "We saw the footage." He stayed silent, unsure if he was in trouble. The director folded her arms. "I want you to know, you handled yourself with more restraint than most people could. That video," she paused, almost smiling, "just became mandatory viewing in our new officer training program." Carter blinked. "Wait, seriously?" She nodded. "You turned humiliation into a lesson this country needed. The public's demanding change. The police chief already called to apologize." He exhaled, finally letting some of the tension go. But before he could speak, the director slid a folder across the table. "One more thing. The mayor wants to meet you this afternoon. They're putting together a new joint task force on racial bias and law enforcement accountability." Carter raised an eyebrow. "You want me to lead it?" The director smiled faintly. Who better than the man they tried to arrest for driving his own car? Later that day, as Carter left the office, he found his son waiting by the car again. The boy looked up at him with quiet pride. "Dad, everyone at school saw the video. They said you're a hero." Carter smiled, kneeling to meet his eyes. "I'm not a hero, son. I just did what was right." The boy thought for a moment and then said softly, "Then maybe that's what heroes do." Carter's chest tightened, and, for the first time since the arrest, he smiled, really smiled. "Come on, Ironheart," he said, ruffling his son's hair. "Let's go get breakfast." This time, no flashing lights. As they drove off, sunlight broke through the clouds. Justice hadn't just been served, it had taught something. And for the first time, Carter knew his country might finally be learning to see what really matters: respect, dignity, and truth.